Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. In this episode, I just don't stop shooting. So I'm here for the herring spawn where thousands if not millions of herring are swimming to eastern Vancouver Island to spawn for the next generation. While I'm here, sometimes it can be a bit of a guessing game. So if there isn't wildlife for the herring spawn to go ahead and photograph, I'm gonna try and find other things to go ahead and shoot, whether it's more wildlife, maybe inland or even landscape. So stick around with me during this episode. I'm excited to go ahead and show you my diversity and what it is that you maybe could shoot if you're ever in the same circumstance out in the wild. If you're new to this channel, my name is Shannon and I'm a full-time photographer in beautiful British Columbia. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply enjoy some stunning visuals, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Morning everyone. It is a dewy, wet, chilly morning, but it is a stunning one. I've got all of my tripods and cameras that were set up earlier. I had them checking out the view of the mountains as the sun was lighting up everything. I was doing some time lapses and then as I was making my coffee and we were having breakfast, on some trees right out over here, I saw two eagles mating and I let my wife know. I said, look, look. And then, of course, by the time I got my camera, they finished. They were quick. The female just kind of sat there and then flew off after a bit. I described it, yes. Oh, it was perfect lighting and the moment was, it was very romantic. Yeah, they probably just wanted some privacy. I don't think it was a performance issue. I think it was just privacy. We've been here for a couple of days. To recap, the first day was just downpour, crazy, but there was a whole bunch of bait balls that were happening right here, so there was a bit of a spawn. So that was exciting. Day two, traveled around the island, we met some people, and then we got a report about a spawn that was happening, so we rushed over there and that was amazing. So we got sea lions, the California and the Stellar sea lions, river otter. The river otter was a lot of fun to photograph. Swam right up, like came within a few feet of me just to check me out. So that was a lot of fun, and then some eagle action, which has been good. Hopefully today is a good day. Not a whole lot of wind today, which is a great sign. And of course, we've got beautiful sunshine. So looking forward to what today has to offer. Now, if you've never been to Hornby Island, you should definitely go if you have the chance to. There's a lot of things to see, not just these beautiful little art pieces on the side of the road, but the island has a lot of things to offer. And here's a cool little map that shows you some of the exciting things that you might run into. But we carried on around the island to different coves, seeing some guys fishing, pulling up some of the herons, so we know that they're out there. There wasn't anything major that was happening. Now I saw a whole bunch of eagles off to one area and it took a little while to kind of get out there, but unfortunately during this time the tide was down far enough that they were just kind of grabbing the herring out of these pools that I found without really having to swoop in and kind of catch them out of the water. So I stuck around for a bit, took some video, and didn't really get any great shots, but was still pretty exciting to kind of mark down on the map for future visits. Don't have my mic on, so hopefully you can hear me. Eagles all up in the trees, but look at the amount of poop that's here. All of these pools had some fish in them. A lot of action here. Now I'm out here filming and photographing to kind of put together a storyline for YouTube. And a lot of my forward-facing interactions with the eagles, flying and swooping, I got on video, but I managed to only get this shot that was any good, and of course the eagle is facing away from me. Now with wildlife, you don't always get the best opportunities and you have to spend a lot of time in the field. Here's a shot where they're kind of overlapping. Even when I did get them facing me, it wasn't a great opportunity. Another one where they're up in the trees. It's way too bright, harsh lighting. Kind of an interesting shot with a lot of detail still. And then one flying overhead. Again, really harsh lighting. So I didn't have any more time. I had to get back to the car for some lunch with the baby. But the moral of the story is not every moment is going to be a winner, and it takes time. So let's talk about camera setups and which one might be best for you photographing wildlife. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably seen this setup where I use a video head paired with my camera to be taking photos and video. Now the flip side of that is a gimbal head, which I have right here. It's got these two knobs, and this one I can photograph and film wildlife as well. So which one is best out of the two of them? Well, the pros and cons are as follows. Pros. Video ahead allows me to control the drag. So if I'm pushing side to side or up and down, I can actually apply some pressure and it'll smoothly move from left to right or up and down. And this allows me to follow subjects nice and smooth. And I can control that drag by adding more or less to it. And the drag system for this gimbal head is a fluid drag system. So I can apply more or less, and I can slowly move with my subject. As opposed to this gimbal setup, it's basically an on and off. Everything moves really, really fast. Now you'll notice over here, once I have it balanced, it'll just stay positioned in that angle that I have. Now, if you have a zoom lens where your lens actually extends, that's where you're going to be off balance. So if you don't have a zoom lens and you use primes, this can be a great setup. Now over here, doesn't matter if you have a prime or a zoom, if it's not balanced, when you take this off, it's just going to start going. And I've turned around, looked at someone's, talked to someone else and looked over, and this was just about to topple over. And it will, once it becomes completely out of balance, it can fall right over. So that's why there are locks on this system right here, is because that fluid could be tight, but over time, all of a sudden your camera's, falling over. So when you're using this, you need to make sure that you lock things off if you're gonna go over to grab a battery or another SD card or something to leave this on its own. This has locks as well, but like I said, once it's balanced, everything is centered over the tripod. There's usually no worry about leaving it in one place. I think the video head is cheaper. It's like 250 bucks. This one, I think might have been 400 bucks. So it's quite a bit more expensive. And another downside is that it's pretty bulky as opposed to this one. This one's done by Manfrotto. I'll have links down below if you want to check out the gear and the pricing. But this one actually packs up really well. So I really like that, and that it's cheaper as opposed to this. Let me know down in the comments, are you a fan of this over the video head? Maybe you haven't used it before, you would be interested in it. I still love this. It's great for wildlife. Like I said, if there was a bird way off to one side, this one's going to be really quick to get to where the wildlife is. So for photos, this one typically makes more sense to me. But if you're going to do both video and photos, you might want the other one. Now there is one last option, and that is hand holding. This is the new lens that I got for my Nikon system. It is the 400 f4.5 lens, and it is so light, super light. I can hold this all day. And I got the 1.4 teleconverter, which actually makes this a 560mm lens. And so this system is actually longer than this, and it's easily half the weight of this. So you can handhold all day without having to purchase gimbals and tripods for wildlife. And that comes with a lot of pros, maybe some cons, because you know, you're going to be shaking, moving a little bit, and you have a little bit more control, or for some people a lot more control on a tripod where it's mounted. But this is a great option and something that I'm going to be using a lot more without the tripod. Now, wherever I'm traveling to, I'm always thinking of photography opportunities. So if there's not really any wildlife, well then I shoot landscape. If the daytime isn't that great, but the sky is gonna clear, I'm thinking of night photography and shooting the Milky Way or the stars. Since there wasn't a huge spawn at that moment, we decided to go for a hike. So nice along here. So yeah, if we see the herring spawn right here, we'll definitely know it, because the water will just turn that beautiful milky turquoise. A lot of small holes in these trees, which is a great spot for a western screech owl. In search of some landscape and wildlife opportunities, I came across this waterfall. I did have a friend who mentioned that this could be flowing, so I was really pumped to see it at a good level. I've got a polarizer that I brought. This will dry up, so you need good rain to be able to have this waterfall here. And the reason why it's so special is because the moss is able to grow here quite a bit. If this water was active all the time, all that green moss would have been just kind of ripped off. So I got a polarizer on the front here. As I turn it, see how it gets rid of so much of that glare? Now I've got some sun, so there's hot spots right here. So I might wait until there's a bit of a cloud in front of the sun, but the rest of it up through here, as I turn this, you can see it just removes that glare. So I thought I was hearing a whole bunch of seabirds, but as we got closer, it's just a pond of really loud frogs or toads. So they're all there in the swamp. I was hoping to be able to photograph a few maybe that have come out.
There's a really cool toad in here and I can see him.
Should I get my telephoto lens out?
Tripod. We need the tripod and the telephoto.
Where do I set up? Okay.
It's not there anymore.
Now I believe this is the western toad. On Vancouver Island we have a tree frog as well as a bronze frog. But let me know down in the comments if you know which one this is. And I slowed this down to look at the vibrations through the water. Not just the sound, but the vibrations that it makes in the water is pretty cool. Anyways, didn't get any great shots, so we moved on. I'm filming and photographing a Harlequin duck over here. They're actually quite comfortable because they're kind of like grooming themselves. Some of them even nested down. Anyways, they can be pretty skittish, especially coming down here and they're in this pool area, but they're beautiful. They're all set up. There's males and females, so I got some videos of photos. We came down here to actually hopefully see the herring spawn, but down along this side of the island there's been no action and everyone we've talked to hasn't seen anything. You see a bait ball? Oh, you're right. Way out there, my wife just pointed out there's a big, huge bait ball. So Oh, another eagle. So I think the eagles are going out to where the bait ball is. Yeah. Food is ready. So, see you later, sunset. It's time to eat and just take in the views. Morning everyone, it is day 5 or 6. I wanted to show you my beautiful chaos that I've got going on here. So here I've got my laptop. I'm actually offloading a whole bunch of my iPhone videos and photos. Today I'll have to format my cards, so I need to copy it onto my desktop as well as onto the hard drive, and I should be good to go. This gear box right here, if you can see it, that right there just has a whole bunch of the harnesses. There's a tripod in here. There's all the different filters, polarizers, ND filters. That just slides in here. And then this camera bag right here, this is my 40 liter. My Nikon D850 will sit in here, and I'll have more of my landscape lenses. But in the top pouch here that I can access really easy, I've got some cords as well as some batteries, and I've got my mic set up, and it's really easy to grab here. Down here, I've got my tripod that I can kind of slide in and out. There's another shelf right here, and I can put a tripod up here, so it's really easy to access. So that's the back. Here's the side right here where I have my larger 70 liter case, and my long telephoto lens sits right here, and usually I have like a blanket or something to kind of wrap it up in case we're on a logging road. Down here is my Jackery, and it's like got my whole charging system. So I've got, you know, USB, USB-C that I can plug in and charge. It's also got AC. So this becomes a bit of my charging station where I can charge, you know, all of my batteries for my drone and stuff right here. I jump out of the front, I see some action, grab my telephoto, I'll move to the back, grab my tripod, and then I might grab my mic system if I need it, and then I set up and I do my thing. So that is a bit of my workflow. If I don't develop some sort of a pattern and a reflex to the madness, I'm gonna miss things, lose things, things go missing all the time. But it's been good so far. Got a workshop, actually I got a few workshops. If you want to join me and another professional photographer, we're going to be photographing here on Vancouver Island, giant trees, waterfalls, some waterfalls cascading into the ocean. And we're going to be learning composition, and it's very exciting. I have other workshops that are happening too. So where should they go? Go to madshannon.ca/workshops if you want more information and to sign up.
How many spots are available on that one?
Oh, so the one on Vancouver Island, I think I only got a couple spots left. So email me if you're not sure about any of the details, how to get here, that sort of thing. It will be pretty cool. Now I want to switch gears here for a second and tell you about my first experience with the herring spawn. So if you've never seen the herring spawn, it is unreal. If you could see from the drone footage here, the milt, which is the male sperm, is this turquoise. It changes the water to this turquoise milky color, and it's super thick. And you can see some of the sea lions and stuff kind of diving in and out of it. And then that kind of preps everything for the females who lay thousands and millions of eggs that cover all of the seaweed and branches if they're down in the water. Like, it just coats everything. It's just an unreal event, natural event that is worth everyone viewing and seeing. And the best video and photos, I think, are from the drone. So this is my first time actually popping up a drone during this event, and it kind of blew my mind actually. And the landscape shots that I ended up getting, I printed, I fell in love with. Some of them are a little bit more abstract looking just because of the land, the foam, and the color in the sea, as you can see here. And I guess my question to the viewers is drone photography. How many drone photographers out there? Just let me know. Yes, I'm a drone guy. No, I'm not, or I dabble a little bit. Maybe there's some new episodes that I can talk a little bit more about drone photography. I'd use polarizers and ND filters on my drone, and that helps cut away glare and do a few different things. So if you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments. But yes, seeing the herring spawn with the drone is definitely a must for myself, and yeah, a great way to go ahead and experience it. Beautiful cliffs. We got Vancouver Island way over there. So we're at Halliwell Provincial Park. We are looking for the western screech owl. So during the day on the south side here, with all the sun, they'll be along the woodland, and they'll just have their head outside of a little hole. They're like the size of like a robin. They're really small owls, and they'll just be warming themselves in the sun. Now within like 10 minutes, my wife took a little bunny trail off into the woods, and she found a bunch of pellets and poop everywhere. These pellets are owl pellets, and they are quite a bit smaller than the ones I've seen from a great horned owl, so that was a great sign. You taking a picture? Yeah, wildlife photographer right there. So this is a tree right here, hoping to see maybe a western screech owl. My wife found this just along the trail here. It's poop everywhere and pellets. So that is a great sign. So now that we know that there's an owl here, normally what I would do if I lived here is, you know, you come back in the evening or super early in the morning, especially early in the morning, and see if they're perched up here. Could even set up a blind out in the woods here. And of course, with my son here, definitely not incognito. Everyone knows we're here. There is 2 pleated woodpeckers that are just off in this woodland, and it's beautiful. The light's kind of coming through, and it's kind of a hazy, there's a thin cloud that's kind of covering the sun, so it's a bit softer light. A lot of the times I can tell if they're going to fly, because the woodpecker will look at maybe the next tree it's going to go to, and it's probably using its hearing, and anyways, it would then fly to the next tree. So I always found that it kind of looked to the next tree, and then a few seconds later it would fly to it. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit and then keep on hiking. Enjoying some food, and you can see everything's spawning, especially way off at that point, way out there. Look at that, look at all the wildlife. And then these mountains, perfect day. Now we heard reports that there was a spawn that was happening over on Hornby Island, and we were thinking that we were gonna go home. So we decided to take the ferry over, check out that herring spawn, and then make our way all the way back down to our house. And just before we left to travel back home, we took one last look at the millions of eggs scattered across the beach. It's hard to believe that roughly 2 out of 20,000 make it to adulthood. These beautiful little fish are a keystone to our wildlife and worth protecting. So if you like this content, please give me that thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed, maybe think about subscribing. I'll put the video from last week, which is the first part of this trip, right up here in this corner. And up over here will be other adventures and wildlife trips that I've done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next episode. Ciao.